Hey guys, it is Patrick, and before you dive into this intermediate accounting lesson, I wanted you to know that you can actually download the notes for this section and specifically this lesson that you're about to watch if you head to my website at www.patrickleemsa.com, or you can head over to the description link that's below, and I'll put that link to those notes below where you can find them, download them, and print them and follow along as you watch this lesson. So go do that, and here is your intermediate accounting lesson. All right, in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the financial statements and their effect in the capital markets. In the last lesson, we talked a little bit about the purpose of financial statements, and what we know about financial statements is that our job is to get financial statements out to external users to hopefully get those external users to invest in our companies. Why is that important? Well, we're going to talk about that in this lesson when we talk about those financial statements and the capital market. So let's get started here with understanding this topic about capital market. So come to the basics here. Financial statements are an expensive item to produce and prepare. They are expensive. Why are they expensive? Well, they require auditing, which costs a lot of money. So we need to have an external auditor or accountant come in and audit the books to make sure that they can be relied on, because an external user wants to be able to rely on the financial statements. They can't just trust what the company says on their financial statements. So by having auditors audit, they can be assured that they can trust the financial statements. Preparation costs money because you're going to need an accounting team to be able to produce the financial statements and make sure that all the data the company has from a financial standpoint are in the financial statements as required by US GAAP. Online disclosure, that costs money. So nowadays, this information is all online. So if you go to like Pepsi.com or Coca-Cola.com or Walmart.com, you're going to find something called the Investors Relation page of their website. When you click on the investor relation, it's going to have all this information. That costs a lot of money, not only to secure, but to make sure it's available to the public. And the risk, there are risks to the financial statements, especially when an investor uses the information in the financial statement to rely on that information to be able to make a decision based on their investment. And if they lose money based on them relying on a falsified financial statement, that could be a world of hurt to the company itself. So again, these things cost a lot of money. And the question that we often ask ourselves is, if that's the case, why even worry about it? Do we really want to take on that risk and that cost associated if it doesn't really matter because it costs us so much to be able to produce them? Well, here's the reason why we should think about preparing these financial statements in the first place. So an organization needs capital to grow bigger than the resources an owner has currently. So when you think about it, when a company starts off, it usually has maybe one or a few owners. And that one or a few owners has so much capital that they can provide to the organization. If they want the organization to be a worldwide company, they probably don't have the resources to be able to do it. And the time it takes them to actually get that resource, if they were just to use profits from the organization, might take a very long time. It may take them 20 years to be able to amass $500 million of profit to be able to take the company to a worldwide level. So in order to not have to do that, we can accelerate that by getting investments from other people. So to do this, a company's owners can access what we call the capital markets to be able to obtain financing resources that allow a company to grow. Now, just important here, when we talk about finances here or financing, we don't necessarily mean debt. We'll talk about capital stock here, but as well. So when we think of financing, we're not talking about debt, but we're talking about the overall broad overview or a knowledge and understanding that financing is anybody who's giving us money to help us grow and help us invest in our own company. So that's why this is so important, is because we need resources to be able to expand more than our current capacity allows based on the financial resources that we have. Now, what is the capital markets? Well, capital markets provide something called capital markets provide a mechanism to help our economy allocate resources efficiently. Think about it like a traffic signal. Traffic signal's job is to help move traffic efficiently through the intersection, and more advanced intersections do this by allocating time more efficiently based on its current needs. So when we think about a traffic signal, its job, if done properly, is to ensure that the flow is always consistently flowing, especially at an intersection. Because what's the problem with an intersection? The problem with an intersection is that you've got cars that need to go one way, and then you've got cars that are going to impede that ability to go one way because they're going perpendicular to what that original traffic is going to. So what does that traffic signal do? It finds a way to be able to efficiently move people that are going this way against people going this way. And if you think about it, stoplights are pretty efficient, because what's the alternative? The alternative is a four-way stop sign intersection. And how bad is a four intersection stop sign? Well, if we're talking about hundreds of cars an hour, we're talking about every car having to stop, wait, go, stop, wait, go, and it just doesn't become efficient. That traffic signal allows for a little bit of efficiencies. If you have a really good traffic signal, what you can do is to ensure that if going this way is usually very busy in the morning, we're going to give this way a little bit more green light time in the morning, but in the afternoon, it's this way that is more compacted. Then we're going to reduce the green light from this way and give it more this way, so that we go with the flow of traffic to ensure the efficient flow of vehicles through that intersection. Now, how does that relate to the capital markets? The capital markets do some of the similar things. We've got a whole bunch of investors over here that have a whole bunch of cash and capital that they're willing to invest in. We've got a lot of companies over here that need that investment to grow, to expand, to get to that next level. But we really don't have this thing here in the middle to be able to efficiently transfer funds and efficiently exchange funds in a manner that is safe for all participants within this, what we call capital market. So the capital market allows us to efficiently transfer resources over here to companies that might need those resources over here. How do we do that? We do that through investments like capital stock or stock. We do that through lending. That's all part of what we call the capital markets. Now, as a comparison, in the old days, capital markets didn't need a ton of information to make decisions. You walked into the bank, you provide the financial statements, they might ask you a whole bunch of questions, and then they lend you the money. Today, that's a little bit different. In today's highly competitive world, information is what drives the capital markets, and any hint of bad news means the capital markets are going to react sharply to avoid losing tons of money. Nowadays, if you want a loan, you have to not only bring your financial statements, you have to have great credit. Your business has to be great credit. You have to show that you have profitability. You don't have a lot of debt outstanding. So there's a lot more that's required, because banks want to reduce the risk. The capital markets want to do the same thing. Now, here's an illustration of how the capital markets work. This is Coca-Cola. And if you notice about information, if we were taking information in capital markets and how they work together, we can see here in between 1962 and 1982, so we're looking at about 20 years here, we saw the stock price here of Coca-Cola go from here to here, and it's only increased about 300%. But what happened when we get past 1982? Well, when we get past 1982 up until today, we're seeing up here an increase of 6,400%. What causes that 6,400%? Well, obviously, we've got more market participants, but if you noticed here, we've got a lot of ups and downs, okay? It's not as steady as it was in that 20-year period between 1962 and 1982. What happened here? What happened here is that information was available to everyone. So if there was any hint some bad news would happen to Coca-Cola, you probably saw these dramatic drops in the stock price. What does this allow the capital markets to do? It allows for a free exchange of investment and ownership in a company. So between 1983 and 2019, we saw a lot more volatility. And some of the reason for that volatility was because of information being at everybody's fingertips. Now, that also means that because we have more information, we have more ability to predict or project what Coca-Cola is able to do, which I think is why we're seeing an increase of 6,400% for Coca-Cola over this period of time versus 20 years, it was only 300%. So that is a look at the capital markets, a super important part of accounting, because we want to make sure that the data that we provide to external users is giving, we want to make sure that the information that we're providing external users gives them a great understanding of our organization so that they can make a better decision. And hopefully what we're doing in our organization will lead them to invest more money in our organization so that we can continue to grow and make more money. So hope you enjoyed this lesson. We'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. If you enjoy what you saw, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to write something in the comment section below, like, I don't know, what's your favorite superhero? If you are looking for the next intermediate accounting lesson, make sure you click on this button right over here. And if you want to head to my website and see all of the lessons that are available, make sure you head to my website right here. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.